Let's begin by telling you that Senate President Godswill Akpabio has criticized Rivers State Governor Siminialayi Fubara for his handling of the state's political crisis, which has placed him at odds with the Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike, the Speaker, and the majority of the State House of Assembly members, along with key stakeholders in his People's Democratic Party. Speaking as the special guest of honor at a public lecture and book launch in Port Harcourt to mark the FCT Minister's 57th birthday, Akpabio stressed the importance of maintaining a strong working relationship with the legislature. He also recognized Martins Amewule as the legitimate Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly and reminded Fubara of the legislative arm's constitutional powers and influence. And now to discuss this, we are joined by the Special Assistant to Rivers State Governor on Electronics Media, Jerry Omotsa-Gunwa. I hope I got that right. Good evening to you, sir.
Yes, I was calling you 60%. The real pronunciation is Jerry Omashogunwa. Omashogunwa.
All right.
Esogunwa.
All right, that's noted. Thank you very much, sir. Now, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio berated Governor Siminialayi Fubara for his poor handling of the political crisis in Rivers State. How do you react to that?
First and foremost, I want to say thank you for this opportunity of giving me this evening. But I want to say that the Senate President lack understanding of the real issues in Rivers State. If he has a full understanding or has a full gist, I don't think he will say anything like that. These are people who just wake up one morning and said they are impeaching the governor. And after some time, they just said, oh, we are leaving our party. And what will you do to them? You're saying that you're supposed to push them and bring them in. It's just like football. If the opposite people decide not to play, will you force them to play? So I think Akpabio need more understanding of the political situation in Rivers State before he begins to throw blame at the end of the day. And also declaring that Martins Amewule may be his own speaker, or better still, maybe Speaker of Akwa Ibom State Assembly. If not for Rivers State, what does the Constitution say about leaving your party? These people left their party, they went to the court, they posed an affidavit, and all those put together. You saw your people were there, they covered this whole thing. Several news channels, they were in Port Harcourt to cover this thing, where they said they have left the party, the PDP, that they were under which they were elected, and they have moved to the APC. The then caretaker chairman of the APC also received them at the Polo Club and all those put together. It shows that Akpabio does not really understand the subject matter he tends to discuss.
Okay, so let's break it down in bits. During the course of that event, he deplored what he called politics of betrayal and treachery. And he said that such a trend would actually affect sustainability in Rivers governance. So I'd like to put this to you. Did Governor Siminialayi Fubara in any way betray the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike?
Sometimes in, I think it was 2021, when the same FCT minister was doing his birthday, he made a statement that he will not stay in office forever, that he is urging the Rivers elders to help him shop for somebody that will take over from him. And he also said that the person must be a person of strong character that can defend Rivers State. Now, what does it mean that somebody betrays somebody? Don't forget that the same man that is speaking now, who happened to be the Senate President Akpabio also supported Udom Emmanuel to become governor of Akwa Ibom State, remember? And not too long, there was serious crisis in Akwa Ibom State between Udom Emmanuel and Akpabio, the same Akpabio that is talking now. How do you now say that? What will you now say? Is it that Udom Emmanuel betrayed him, or Udom Emmanuel was fighting for the progress of Akwa Ibom State? If former Governor Nyesom Wike, now FCT Minister, is saying that the Rivers elder should help him to shop for somebody that will defend Rivers State. Now, I want to put it to you or ask you now, is Governor Fubara defending Rivers State, or he should continue to just live under his shadow?
I think citizens of Rivers State will be the ones to answer that question very well.
Fine.
But then
That's why I put it back to you and other people that are listening.
Yeah, of course, I understand. But then, so if this could actually play out, what exactly does the former governor, BK, what does he want from Governor Fubara in Rivers State?
Well, like you introduced me, I am Jerry Omashogunwa, SA on electronic media to the governor of Rivers State now, right? That's Governor Fubara. I am not the SA on electronic media to former Governor Nyesom Wike. Maybe you can ask him so that he will now tell you what he wants. But what I think my governor wants is the development of Rivers State, touching all sectors and making sure that there is progress in Rivers State. And that's what he's been doing. So all these things you're seeing right now is just distraction. Somebody left his party. Now, if you look, like I said, they deposed to affidavits. Even if you check what would they call it now, the 8-part peace agreement signed at the presidency that the president, Bola Tinubu, midwife. Remember that, right? Now, at number 3, and the concluding part of that number 3, they said that those who resign from their party and move to another party, the APC, should be allowed to operate and all those put together. You go and check that peace pact. At the end of the day, Martin signed. It shows you that they really left their party. Forget all this denying they are doing right now. If you deny, you dispose an affidavit, that's a public document. If you deny, you also sign that you left your party. And what does the Constitution say? Are we living in a banana republic or we don't operate lawful democracy anymore? So these are the issues. So do you now go point the same people that have left and they said they are not working with you to make sure you force them like a military man that they must queue behind you? The answer is no. So all those that are remaining are working with the governor. Rivers people are suddenly behind him. We were in Omuma local government today to commission a road. And I tell you, the reception has been wow. From last week, last week that we started this whole thing, everywhere we go is just like, well, let me not blaspheme here, but massive turnout to receive the governor.
Okay. So in all of this, now the Senate President, that is Akpabio, said that it would be wise for the governor to actually forge close relationship with the legislature in the states. Can that happen?
Who are the legislators? He's working with the legislators now. It's like a ship that has wrecked, and you have people who are no longer part of the ship, so the governor now needs to bring them back when they voluntarily left. The governor is working with the assembly people, and they are working harmoniously. So but the Martin said that Akpabio does not understand the workings or the crisis in Rivers State. It's just like you just come when they come, just say whatever you want to say because two of them are friends.
But the Martin Amewule is still functioning. Martin Amewule faction is still functioning in the legislative body in Rivers State. So how will that gel well?
Functioning how? Functioning, and they want to usurp the power of the governor. The governor set up an inquiry into arson in local government, and they too set up inquiry. Like our people will always ask, a thief that goes to steal band, where will he stay to beat it at the end of the day? When Akpabio was governor of Akwa Ibom State, will he allow this to happen in his state? Will he allow anybody or somebody, it will be in Port Harcourt or be in Uyo and be serving drink to somebody's image in Abuja? Will he allow that to happen? You see Akpabio as someone that will allow that to happen? Yes, you help people to come somewhere, but must you mold the person's image and begin to worship every now and then? And the person call you, you must not breathe? Who does that, for goodness sake? When former Governor Nyesom Wike was governor here, do you think he will allow anybody to even advise him? Talk less for even directing him on what to do? What are we talking about here? He said, part of his prayer there was that we need somebody who can defend Rivers State, and the Votron, the defender of the universe, is now in charge. He's now defending Rivers State and making sure that Rivers money for Rivers people. And the slogan is Rivers first. And that's exactly what he's doing.
Okay. Mr. Jerry Omashogunwa, that is the
Yes.
Rivers State Governor, the Special Assistant to Rivers State Governor on Electronics Media. Thank you so much for your time. We hope that some workable solutions will come to the state anytime soon. It's nice talking to you.
And I want to also remind you before I go that you had the judgment yesterday that you cannot seize Rivers money. Rivers money will be used for Rivers people and development will come. The Trans-Calabar Railway is going on. The Port Harcourt Ring Road is going on. The Elele Omudioga Omoko is going on. And so many other projects, the regional hospitals and everything. And I can tell you for free that by next year, 3 key areas, healthcare, education, and agriculture.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate
everybody along.
Of course, we appreciate the information you've shared with us. Enjoy your day. In the meantime,
thank you very much.
The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, has said that the party's target is to capture Rivers State in 2027. Ganduje stated this while inaugurating the newly elected executive committee of the party in the state, led by Chief Tony Okocha in Port Harcourt, the state capital, on Saturday. He said, though the South-South geopolitical zone is largely controlled by the People's Democratic Party, the APC is making inroads in the zone, with Cross River and Edo states already taken by the ruling party. While congratulating the newly elected state executive members, Ganduje said that traditionally in APC, the inauguration of a state chapter is usually done at the headquarters of the APC in Abuja. He emphasized that the party will continue to work together at all levels, adding that the APC national leadership is willing to perform functions for its fold, even at the world levels. We also tell you that the People's Redemption Party has condemned President Bola Tinubu's economic policies, accusing his administration of dismantling Nigeria. Exacerbating Nigeria's economic challenges. Valalu suggested a potential merger with the African Democratic Congress to form a formidable opposition against the ruling All Progressives Congress in the 2027 general elections. He emphasized that the alliance has become imperative due to what he described as the leadership shortcomings of both the APC and President Tinubu's government. Valalu cited troubling economic indicators, highlighting Nigeria's gross domestic product, which reportedly declined from $493 billion in 2015 to an estimated $362 billion in 2024. To discuss this, we're joined by the Executive Director, Not Too Young to Lead Initiative, Elvis Akpabio. Mr. Akpabio, it's nice to have you on the news.
Thanks for having me, and compliments of the students.
Same to you. Now, Nigeria is running a capitalist economy, but was the elimination of the middle class through this current administration's policies intentional or an honest mistake?
I think it's a mistake. I think at the moment, like I've always said in every platform, citizens should be deliberate about whoever they elect, because their policy will either make or mar them. At the moment, there's a decline in the middle class. It's a very difficult time to be a Nigerian. The only kudos I always give the president is the fact that he appointed young people, despite some are underperforming, but the fact is, those who show that advocacy is working. But at the moment, our the economy of Nigeria is something to worry about. You see young people escaping Nigeria. You see hardship, bleakness everywhere. And for me, it's the primary duty of the government to create an enabling environment where people can live well, where people can do businesses and thrive in their businesses. Let's not forget, too, that there's a high rate of interest rate for SMEs. So business owners are complaining, and when SMEs are complaining, it becomes very, very difficult.
But then,
businesses to thrive.
Okay, the narrative the president and his team have been playing up in the ears of the international community is that his policies are already bearing favorable fruits. So how true is that for you?
That's not true. That's virtual posturing. That's not true. If you ask the common Nigerian today, they will tell you that they are having a very, even those that are wealthy, those that are in the upper class, they're not finding it easy because once they are comfortable and people around you are not comfortable, it becomes a problem.
But then the CBN chief, you would recall, said that Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves have reached over $14 billion. And you'd also recall that the National Bureau of Statistics said that Nigeria's GDP grew by 3.1% in real terms in the second quarter of 2024. Are you saying that all these are lies?
I don't know where they get their figures from, but let's talk about the reality. What the common man is saying in Nigeria. There's hiking prices of things. The common man in Nigeria can barely feed, and you see things. Price of things are rising. Something you do window shopping for a month ago, when you go to the market today, there's an increment. So I think at the moment the government at the center seems to be, they've lost ideas. It's time they bring in people devoid of party differences that will bring ideas, and so that will get policies that will make Nigeria feel habitable, because for me, I think that should be the primary interest of a government that really mean well.
But then, even with that and amidst a seemingly harsh economy, Nigerians seem to have adjusted, they've accepted the reality, and they've moved on, don't you think?
Yeah, I think Nigerians are blessed with the fact that we always adjust. We complain, but we still adjust. If someone would have told me that at the moment, there will be a time, even this year, I'll be buying, the pump price of fuel will be 1,000 something when we have crude oil. There are cases where there was a news that came that was going viral the other day that Port Harcourt refinery have started distributing fuel. We have Dangote refinery. That's not the news we want to hear. The news we want to hear is that we've stopped importing crude oil to refine, to give us PMS, so that there will be a reduction of the pump price. Because what Nigerians are clamoring for is reduce the pump price of fuel, give us steady electricity, give us good road network, then just give us security. Nigerians will be very, very happy. For me, and that's not too much to ask of for a country that is blessed with natural resources and rich human resources. For me, it's not too much to ask for. When we see people who contracted governors with our vote, the guest before mine was talking about what the Senate President said. For me, I don't have any personal issue with the Senate President, but I think he should focus on giving us good legislation and not meddle into the politics of Rivers State, because that was not why he was elected. There's time for politics and there's time for governance. What Nigeria are calling for is good governance.
But then can Nigeria's economic situation, Elvis, can Nigeria's economic situation be redeemable? Is this still redeemable?
It is redeemable. Each time they want to hold meeting, each time they want to go for health and other issues, they go abroad. It's not robots that make those policies they are enjoying abroad. It's humans, and Nigerians are blessed. There are people in Nigeria who can sit down and tell you how we can redeem our epileptic power supply. There are people in Nigeria who can sit down and tell you how we can redeem our economic power supply. But this problem of social strata, you don't live in the eyebrow area, the right surname and all that, political recycling, it's not taking us anywhere.
All right, thank you so much, Elvis Akpabio. It was nice talking to you on the news.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We go on a short break on the news. When we return, cabinet overhaul. Bauchi governor urges President Tinubu to trim excess baggage. We'll bring you more details in a short while. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. We'll now tell you that Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has called on President Bola Tinubu to remove what he termed excess baggage from his cabinet, accusing certain members of undermining the president's administration. Speaking at the commissioning of the 14.1-kilometer Umakali-Eberi Road in Rivers State, Mohammed stressed the importance of prioritizing governance over political maneuvering. He praised Rivers State Governor Siminialayi Fubara for delivering impactful governance despite political hurdles and expressed confidence in his leadership. Fubara also outlined plans to improve local schools and healthcare centers while urging continued public support ahead of his 2027 re-election bid. The leader of the UK's Conservative Party, Kemi Badenoch, says she is Yoruba and identifies less as a Nigerian because she has nothing in common with people in northern Nigeria, which she described as haven for terror group Boko Haram. Badenoch has been at the receiving end of constant backlash from many Nigerians, including public figures, in recent months due to her sustained criticism of its rampant corruption and volatile security climate in the British media. Many Nigerians have deemed most of Badenoch's comments about the country as unflattering. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who is from the north, has criticized Badenoch for her comments. The Vice President said recently that she could go ahead and change her name if she did not want any association with Nigeria, which he described as the greatest black nation on earth. In the meantime, Frank Shaibu, spokesman for Atiku Abubakar, has urged Vice President Kashim Shettima to focus more on meaningful matters rather than criticizing UK Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch. Badenoch, who sought support from Nigerians during a 2010 UK parliamentary campaign, has since made critical comments about Nigeria, citing corruption and insecurity as reasons for leaving the country. Shettima recently accused Badenoch of disparaging her roots, suggesting she might remove the Kemi name from her name if she feels no pride in Nigeria. Responding on Saturday, Shaibu dismissed Shettima's remarks, stating that Badenoch's Yoruba name does not make her automatically Nigerian. Shaibu added that the Vice President should find something useful to do with his time instead of berating the UK lawmaker. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has deployed a Special Operations Brigade to Sokoto and Kebbi states as part of efforts to eradicate the Lakurawa sect from the region. The deployment is part of the ongoing operations aimed at eliminating the self-acclaimed jihadist group operating in the two northwestern states. According to a statement released in Sokoto, the deployment seeks to boost the successes achieved under an operation to chase out the Lakurawa sect. Addressing the troops on Friday, Brigadier General Ibikunle Ajose, the General Officer commanding 8th Division of the Nigerian Army and Commander of Sector 2, Operation Fasanyama, conveyed the directives of the Theatre Commander, Major General Oluyinka Shoyele. He tasked the troops with ensuring the total dismantling of the Lakurawa sect in the affected areas. In the meantime, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, once more ruled out the need for mercenaries to support the armed forces of Nigeria in the fight against terrorists and criminal groups in the country. Musa, who stated this in Abuja, also revealed that Nigerian military has started assembling its own armored personnel carriers. He noted that the military was rising to the occasion, stressing that though the nation's armed forces are trained in conventional war, they have adjusted to the asymmetric nature of insurgency tactics. He stressed the need for the federal government to provide modern and sophisticated military hardware to the armed forces of Nigeria in order to win the war against terrorism and other emerging security threats confronting the nation. We also tell you that the General Officer commanding 3 Armored Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Abdusalam Abubakar, has emphasized the need for empowerment programs that will improve the lives of officers and men of the division, as well as the barrack community. The GOC, who doubles as the commander, Operation Safe Haven, was speaking at the division's headquarters during a one-day empowerment seminar to draw the attention of participants, especially the personnel, to the need for the seminar. News Central's Chizobanyowe completes the reports.
Life after retirement from active service has been seen by many as a difficult one, leaving retirees at the mercy of no one except being dependent on their family members and loved ones alike. Pension may not be enough for most of them to sustain their livelihood as against while in active service. This is why these participants are gathered under this roof to gain the knowledge of fish farming, one of the skills under agriculture that personnel are allowed to explore while in and out of service.
As we gather in this auditorium, we are reminded of the realities of our current economic landscape, where often our earnings do not keep pace. Today, as we delve into the world of fish farming, a venture that not only promises self-sufficiency, but also empowers our families in the cantonment during and after service years.
In line with the new Chief of Army Staff's mandate of empowering and improving the lives of personnel, these stakeholders are committed in ensuring not just officers of the military are well engaged, but also their dependents.
Accents are coming from children, from the Republic, from Ghana, to come to our homes to lay tiles, POP, bricking, and all those things. It's a shame for us Nigeria. This president does not want that to happen again. He also talked about agripreneur. He wants us to turn a lot of Nigeria to entrepreneur in agriculture. And that's why what we are doing today is very important. Life after retirement, what next? Life before retirement, what next? Is a great opportunity for us today to be in front of people, to open the door to see catfish business and tilapia is very rich. I want to use this opportunity to congratulate the Josie for this initiative, to thank you for availing yourself to lend the element in order to improve the income of the officers, to prepare their mind towards retirement, to improve their livelihood, as well as generate revenue to the system.
With this intervention, personnel are expected to keep the spirit alive even in the face of retirement. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyuwi.
Away from that, the immediate past Deputy Speaker of the Kogi State House of Assembly, Enema Paul, has passed on. The Speaker of the House, Ali Yusuf, confirmed Paul's death in a statement on Saturday through his Chief Press Secretary, Mohammed Yabagi. Paul passed away in the private hospital in Abuja early on Saturday morning after battling an undisclosed illness. Yusuf described Paul as a humble, team-playing lawmaker committed to unity and pro-people legislation for the state's development. He noted Paul's devotion to family values and godliness, commiserating with his family and colleagues. Paul, who represented Okura State constituency in the 8th Assembly, stepped down as Deputy Speaker due to health reasons and was succeeded by Comfort Umojola of Ibaji State constituency. The Speaker prayed for strength for all affected by the loss. Staying in Kogi State, where the state government has said the payment of December salary on December 14 is to enable civil servants plan and enjoy their Christmas and New Year holidays after working so hard throughout the year. The Kogi State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fambo, said with the approval by Governor Usman Ododo, civil servants who would want to travel for their holidays could also plan ahead without having to wait for salaries later in the month. Fambo, who addressed newsmen on Saturday, said a similar thing was done during the Salah break to enable civil servants celebrate with their loved ones. With unemployment rates still high in Nigeria, job seekers are tuning and turning to a new and powerful tool, the social media. Platforms like LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and TikTok are not just for entertainment anymore. They're now avenues for career advancement, job hunting, and networking. In this report, News Central's Chidima Ona explores how Nigerians are leveraging social media to land jobs. Hear from those who have turned posts into paychecks and get the opinions of everyday Nigerian on the streets.
To everyday job seekers, the possibilities of utilizing social media platforms are endless for those willing to leverage these platforms strategically. Meet Olive Emodi, a social media influencer who has transformed her talent for creating relatable content into a thriving career. She shares how social media continues to open doors for young talents, providing them with unprecedented opportunities to kickstart their careers.
There are some children whose talents have been launched on social media, gifted singers, actors, performers, and social media has afforded them an opportunity to showcase their talent in a place where the world has become a global village. So we've seen directors, producers around the continent finding their next talent on social media.
Social media isn't just for influencers. Eunice Eze, a remote product designer, says LinkedIn and YouTube helped her secure her dream job. Eunice shares how regular updates to her profile and showcasing her projects online led to her getting freelance gigs.
Moving on to 2022, I also did HNG, but while I was doing all these things, I was getting like little freelance contract jobs for companies to just maybe design something, design a website, or work with them for a month and stuff. So I was just watching YouTube videos, being part of internships, and yeah, that's how I built the skill of being a designer. The most important thing aside all these things is yourself. So if I did not push myself to do all this, I mean, because I was spending money on data, I was spending my time, and I was not really getting like any job. So you have to just be patient with yourself, trust yourself, and push yourself to keep doing it.
But it's not all about the elite professionals or influencers. On the streets of Lagos, everyday Nigerians are sharing how social media has made a difference in their job searches.
Personally, I would say the job I'm on currently with an international company, I got that because I have access to the internet and I was able to access that on LinkedIn.
In LinkedIn now, you get jobs in LinkedIn. Even on Instagram, some people just go their way, they'll post and like say, okay, this is one job opportunity, and I think so.
While social media is transforming Nigeria's job market, making it more accessible, experts warn job seekers to tread carefully due to scams and fake job postings. In Lagos, reporting for News Central, I am Chidinma Ona.
Many thanks for being there. When I tell you that Madagascar has begun preparations for the approaching of Cyclone Chido, with authorities warning of potential landslides and intensifying efforts to mitigate risks during the cyclone season. Disaster management teams have set up emergency shelters for displaced residents and are clearing plastic waste from drainage canals in the capital, Antananarivo, to reduce flood risks. Local communities have started reinforcing roofs and securing essential supplies in anticipation of severe weather conditions. Meanwhile, Mayotte, another Indian Ocean island, has declared a red alert as Cyclone Chido approaches. Authorities in both regions are urging residents to remain vigilant and follow safety guidelines as they brace for the storm's impact. At least 24 people have been killed and 30 injured in the latest wave of attacks by the Rapid Support Forces on rural areas in Sudan's Al Jazeera state. The RSF has been targeting villages in eastern Al Jazeera since October 21, retaliating against the defection of their former commander, Abu Akla Kikil, who joined forces with the Sudanese army. These ongoing attacks have led to the deaths of thousands of civilians and displaced over 400,000 people. This latest violence follows a similar attack in August when the RSF raided Al Adnab and Sadian, killing over 40 people and wounding dozens. Now, a court in Namibia on Friday granted two opposition parties the right to inspect material from the country's recent disputed election. They have claimed that there were irregularities in the presidential and parliamentary polls held on November 27. Namibia's ruling party, Southwest Africa People's Party, SWAPO, won both the votes, extending its 34-year grip on power. The Independent Patriots for Change were joined by the Landless People's Movement in the court in a bid to access the data. They said they wanted to see it in order to substantiate their allegations and potentially launch a legal challenge against the validity of the election. Following Friday's ruling, Namibia's Electoral Court ordered the Electoral Commission to provide the parties with information by next week. This includes documentation of the number of voters cast and counted at each polling station. Outside Africa, we tell you that tens of thousands of protesters celebrated outside South Korea's National Assembly after lawmakers impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol over his failed attempt to impose martial law. The impeachment vote concluded a tumultuous week following Yoon's controversial bid on December 3 to declare martial law. The opposition hailed the decision as a victory for the people. In a televised address, Yoon announced he would step aside but stopped short of offering an apology for his actions. Of the 300 lawmakers, 204 voted in favor of impeachment, 85 opposed, and 3 abstained. Yoon has been suspended from office pending a ruling by South Korea's constitutional court, which has up to 180 days to determine his political future.
이번 탄핵은 당연한 결과고 지난주에 됐어야 될 게 너무 늦게 된 감이 없지 않습니다. 이건 당연히 타결돼야 될 거고 모두 국민의 승리라고 생각합니다. 제가 초등학교 6학년 때 5.18 민주화운동이 일어났는데 44년 만에 제가 다시 또 이런 일을 겪게 되는 전혀 몰랐습니다. 다시는 이런 일이 반복되지 않았으면 좋겠고 다시는 이런 거리에서 나오는 일이 없었으면.
Let's also tell you that Georgia's ruling party, Georgian Dream, has appointed Mikhail Kavelashvili as the country's 6th president amid an ongoing constitutional crisis. Kavelashvili, a staunch loyalist and former parliamentarian, was elected by an electoral college dominated by the ruling party. The process faced a boycott from opposition parties, sparking concerns over political fairness and inclusivity. He secured a decisive majority of 224 votes, earning a 5-year term as Georgia's next figurehead leader. The appointment comes as tensions escalate between the government and opposition over the state of democracy in the country. Critics argue that the election underscores widening political divisions, with the opposition continuing to question the legitimacy of the ruling party's actions.
Election in the history of Georgia, where the presidential election took place with a new model when the electoral college was electing the president. The turnout was pretty much high because out of 225 voters to say have participated in this process.
პოზიტიურად ჩაიწერება ჩვენი ქვეყნის ისტორიაში მიხეილ ყაველაშვილი იქნება უცილებლად გამორჩეულად დაცამახსოვრებადი პრეზიდენტი ჩვენი საზოგადოებისთვის და მსოფლიოსთვის მისი პოზიტიური, ეროვნული, გამორჩეულად პატრიოტული.
A bit of business now. African leaders have been tasked to equip women on the continent with the right tools and resources to lead the continent's formal and green economy. This call was during the maiden edition of the African Women Sustainability Conference, which was held in Abuja, the nation's capital, focusing on empowering women on the continent as catalysts for sustainable growth and development. Experts at the conference say, despite the contribution of women in business, especially the informal sector, they continue to face severe financing gaps amounting to about 42 billion naira.
Constitutes approximately 50% of Africa's population and own about 58% of Africa's MSMEs. Yet, according to the AFDB, we face a $42 billion financing gap. This isn't just unequal. Again, it's like leaving half of your talented players at the bench during the most important match of our time.
Women are the backbone of African informal economy. Still, we must go beyond recognition and equip them with the tools, resources, and opportunities to lead the formal and green economies. This conference is a call to action. It reminds us of the immense potential for green investment opportunities within the Federal Capital Territory. Let us ensure that our women entrepreneurs are equipped and empowered as catalysts for sustainable growth.
In sports, the Republic of Congo and the Democratic Republic of Congo are teaming up to bid for the 2029 African Cup of Nations. DRC Sports Minister Didier Budimbu confirmed the plan, announcing a partnership with Congo-Brazzaville to host the prestigious tournament. The joint bid highlights the shared ambition of both countries to bring AFCON to the heart of Central Africa. And Barcelona is fully focused on Sunday's game against Leganes, not looking ahead to next weekend's showdown with Atletico Madrid. Manager Hansi Flick emphasized the importance of staying 100% concentrated as his team aims to maintain their top spot in La Liga. Barcelona's recent slump with just 1 win in 5 games has tightened the title race. Real Madrid is now just 2 points behind, with Atletico a point further back with a game in hand. And that's all at this hour, but before we go, we'll look at our top stories again. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has criticized Governor Fubara over Rivers' political crisis. Defense Chief has ruled out need for mercenaries to fight terrorists. We also told you that Madagascar is bracing for Cyclone Chido landfall as government has warned of flooding. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Evo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.